Have you ever thought about managing your own rental property but you don't know where to start? In this video, I'm going to give you 4 factors to consider before you make that decision. Boom! By the way, after I give all 4 of these, the summary is going to be critical to your decision. First factor is time. How much time will you have to put in by managing it yourself versus if someone else manages it? So depending on what your goals are, depending on what you actually want to get out of running a property portfolio and a property business, this is a factor. Like, do you have the time and you're okay of putting the time in? Or are you actually strapped for time, or you would rather spend your time doing something else? Number 2 is income. Yeah, you've got to consider the income. If I'm going to manage it myself, yes, the rental income, I'm going to keep more of it. Versus if I have someone else manage it, I'm going to have to pay them to find the tenants. There's also going to be an ongoing management fee. So depending on your strategy, by the way, if it's a buy to let, for example, the finder fees are not going to be that often. But if it's a HMO and there's a higher turnover, yes, of course, there is going to be these finder fees more often. If it's service accommodation, then the management fee is usually higher. Plus, there's going to be booking fees that for you to consider as well. Number 3 is experience. Yeah, and this is going to lead on to the 4th one in just a moment. But what experience do you actually want? Do you want to gain the experience of being able to find tenants and be able to manage it and put inventories together and make sure your properties are running smoothly? Or would you rather have the experience of someone else managing it, but you've got the experience of running the business and working on the business rather than in the business? Number 4, this one is absolutely critical. You've got to consider this. You know, I have this philosophy: don't do for 1 which I cannot do for 100. So most people will do something for 1 property, 2 property, 3 property. But let me ask you this: if you have no intention whatsoever of doing it for 100 properties, why are you even doing it for 1? Look, I've got many people that I've trained, they invested in property, and then they were like, you know what, I see a gap in the market, I want to have my own management company. So these guys, to manage their own properties, it makes sense. Why? Because their back end is a business, yeah, where they're going to manage not just their rooms, but they're going to manage other people's rooms. If you have no intention of opening an agency, you've really strongly got to consider, why would I want to do this in the first place? Because I've seen many people, they'll take on rent-to-rents and then manage them themselves to try and make some money, but over time, unless they're going to manage other people's properties, now what they've done is they've created a big ass job for themselves to continue doing. Because not only are they going to start renewing the leases around when these 3 and 5 year leases of the properties start coming up, they've continuously got to keep finding tenants and placing them and making sure everyone is compatibly, put together. So above all, before you make any decisions, consider these 4 factors, especially number 4. This is what passive income is all about. Passive income doesn't mean do nothing. It means put it on autopilot. Yes, you heard me, autopilot. Did I say no pilot? Did I say that? I didn't say no pilot, did I? I said autopilot, meaning I want it to be passive, 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 meaning I do less, 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 less. Not that I have to keep doing more, more, more. So if you want to manage it yourself, just know that you're going to have to be always doing things, where if you're going to have other people manage it and leverage other people's businesses, that's going to give you more time to work on the business and expand into other avenues. Property investors, normally they'll start managing things themselves just to scrimp and scrape and save some money. That is not operating like the way we do in the real life community, which is as a real estate entrepreneur, real business, creating real money, real freedom, not actually you just created a job. So there's some things for you to consider. Until next time, do the right thing for the right reason, because it's the only way to discover your true potential.